Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown, a very special one at that. It's St. Patrick's Day, kind of, sort of. This won't air on St. Patrick's Day, nor is it being recorded on St. Patrick's Day, but it is being put together in celebration of this glorious day in which we drink. I am joined by Questy. How you doing?
Hi. Hello, Robert, and hello, fans, and everyone watching.
Hello to everyone. Hello, Questy. We're going to talk about some of the best metal albums to get drunk to, because, realistically, that's what most of y'all are probably doing on St. Patrick's Day. You're listening to metal and getting drunk. Speaking of, what do you got for us there? What are you drinking?
I have Winterberry's Pink Gin special release. Ooh.
Oh, I can't wait to see how the Irish metalheads respond to that.
It's not Guinness. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank God, honestly. Guinness sucks. I can't do that stuff. You may as well drink a loaf of bread. Fan. It's so heavy.
It's like a meal in a glass.
It really is, man. I remember, I don't know if I've ever told this story on the Metal Meltdown, but years ago, when Anna and I had just started dating, we went to a cultural festival here in Mississauga called Carasaga. And it was cool. There was like a French pavilion, there was like a Polynesian pavilion, an Indian pavilion, you know, people selling like cultural and ethnic foods and like a lot of dancing and a lot of music. And they had an Irish pavilion as well. And for the most part, there were a lot of different types of people going to check out a lot of different types of pavilions. You know, not the Irish pavilion. The Irish pavilion was filled with older, fat white dudes, and they were drinking Guinness as if it were fucking water.
Damn, I can have one, and then after that, I'm like, no more. It was impressive. Too full.
Yeah, I had one, and I'm watching these old fuckers like pound that shit back.
I can't do that.
Just absolutely destroying it. Like it's fucking a glass of milk to start the day. And meanwhile,
give me gin, give me rum.
Meanwhile, I'm struggling with like half a pint. Like I'm like, Jesus, may as well drink a whole fucking bag of barley.
We just pissed off everyone already.
Yeah, come to think it, I might have actually pissed off more Irish metalheads than your fucking pink gin there.
I think you might have.
Whatevs, it's all good. I myself am drinking Mill Street Organic Lager, brewed here in my wonderful home city of Toronto, Ontario. And no, despite the fact I technically work for Mill Street, I was not paid to drink this or endorse this.
He's been sponsored.
But Mill Street, if you're listening, please do so, because, like, fuck it, I drink all the time anyway. You may as well pay me for it.
Exactly.
It's not selling out if you're already enjoying it. Think of it that way. Like you tell, like, if fucking, like, if a fucking beer, if Jack Daniels was like, would you do an ad? I'd be like, dude, I already do ads for you. You have any idea how much fucking whiskey I drink?
Pretty much any time you do a controversial video and someone says some stupid ass comment, it's like, well, time to get the Jack out.
Time to get the Jack Daniels, or like a big old bottle of fucking Russian vodka or some shit like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about a slew of albums that we jam or would jam on St. Patrick's Day. These are the best metal albums to get drunk to, spanning possibly multiple genres. I don't know. I don't know Questy's list. He doesn't know mine. We both have 5 albums. It's going to equal 10. Top 10 metal albums to get drunk to. I feel like that's self-explanatory. Why don't you go ahead and start us off, Questy? What do you got?
All right. I'm going to take a drink every time a new album comes up. It's a little rule for that.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. It doesn't have to be
a big drink, just a swig. So before this video, I thought we were doing bands. So most of the list I could pick any album by the band. I feel like the bands themselves are perfect for drinking with, but I'm going to go with particular albums just because that's the name of the game. So first up is a band you know and love. A certain swashbuckling band that I think you like every album by. I'm pretty sure you reviewed them and love every album by. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you love Ailstorm.
Mixed feelings.
So,
depending on what album, we might be on the same page, though.
All right, my album is going to be Captain Morgan's Revenge. So it's one of the first ones. It might be actually the debut. And it has.
I'm going to check myself. The one I'm most familiar with is the Back Through Time one.
Back Through Time. I almost picked Back Through Time. That was my second choice. But again, this is a band I could pick any album by, but for me personally, Captain Morgan's was the album that got me into the band. The long song, Captain Morgan's Revenge, Wenches and Mead. We need more wenches. Oh, more wenches and mead. That song, so good. And Nancy the Tavern Wench. You need like a beer in your hand when you're singing that. Just the chorus of that is so like you're in a tavern with Nancy, your arm around her, and you're just singing that chorus is so infectious. It's such a good drinking album. Again, every song on it, fun, over the seas. You could throw this on any time and have a blast with people. It's not too serious. Most of my picks aren't serious. In fact, all the true cult guys are going to hate my list. Absolutely despise it.
That means I like it already by default.
And that I don't listen to death metal and I don't listen to black metal when I want to have fun. It's generally any other time. But when I'm having fun drinking, it's always kind of party bands and fun music like Ailstorm and stuff like that. So my first pick is Captain Morgan's Revenge because I'm a pirate and I love my rum and it's fun. Cheers.
Hell yeah, cheers. No, that makes sense. That's a solid choice. I don't know if I'm familiar with that particular album off the top of my head. I literally had to look it up on Wikipedia. But you know, I did always like Black Sails at Midnight, which I think was the second album, and Back Through Time, which I think came out shortly after that.
You might like the debut then, because it's a bit more serious than the later goofy stuff. It's kind of like Back Through Time. You might like it.
Yeah, I feel like after Back Through Time and arguably moments of Back Through Time, like that was the point where it's like, all right, we've jumped the shark. This isn't just pirates. This is the multiverse, and like we're bringing in rap elements and electronic
Vikings.
elements, and I'm like, all right, I can vibe with this, but like y'all can't sit here and be like, we're serious now. Like you can't.
No.
I think the gimmick has lost a bit of its luster over the years, but credit where it's due. Those early records are just fun, and they're actually still very well written. They hold up pretty well. Like Black Sails of Midnight is solid. Back Through Time is solid. I'll have to revisit Captain Morgan's Revenge before I can really fully comment.
When you're tipsy though, don't sober's like, oh okay, but when you're drunk, it's like yo ho.
Oh yeah, I mean the gang vocals, the keyboards, those like chuggy kind of like folk power metal, trad heavy metal riffs, like makes sense to me. Perfect drinking music.
Yeah.
For me, first on my list is a classic. I mean, it really is not just a classic party record, but a classic metal record altogether. Honestly, you could probably any like Nawabum or early thrash record is perfect for drinking. To be just throwing that out there. I'm picking this one specifically because this one just exudes like pure alcoholic party mayhem. Ace of Spades from Motorhead.
Oh, okay. I did not expect that.
Everything about this album just fucking reeks of piss and vinegar and lukewarm beer and fucking whiskey. Like I hear I hear those rumbling bass lines and I hear Lemmy's like, you know, kind of gravelly moans and shrieks and barks. And all I can think is, I wish I were in Vegas pounding back fucking whiskey. Like that's just the vibe I immediately.
I'm glad you said whiskey.
Album. As opposed to
pounding Lemmy.
I mean, it's Vegas, you know. Hey, he was a handsome fella. He had sex appeal up the fucking wazoo.
Yes, he did. Yes,
and that's something that also really helps with this record. Like, there's a lot of sex appeal and swagger and attitude. You know, it just
pure rock and roll.
Yeah, it's pure fucking rock and roll. Everything from like Ace of Spades, the chase is better than the catch. You know, there's just tons of great, gnarly, raucous, pissy, shitty jams that, I'm sorry, if you don't immediately want to grab something alcoholic the moment you hear Ace of Spades, I really don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And again, we could pick literally any kind of like Nawabum or early thrash record, and it would like, there was I even had like a list because there were a few records I wanted to talk about, but I was like, I got some honorables. I almost threw in Bonded by Blood. I almost threw in Kill 'Em All. I almost threw in like some classic Angel Witch and shit like that and Venom. But like, this is the cream of the crop, in my opinion. Like,
I agree.
If you want to get drunk, if you want to party, and you aren't playing this record, I don't know if I trust you.
That is true. I didn't actually think about thrash and Speed on my list. I was thinking more party
Really?
stuff. Yeah,
See,
my head was like,
so
ooh,
minor
party.
spoiler alert, that's most of what I thought.
That's
Because
good.
like
We got a varied list then.
because like for me, when I was a teenager, young adult getting up to stupid shit, like all my friends and we all listen to like a lot of thrash and speed and like classic heavy metal. So
Damn.
for a lot of this list is informed by that love, by that very nostalgic feeling, you know, of like, all right, I'm a dumb fucking kid and I'm partying. Like Kill 'Em All almost made the list because like for literally the first time I like fully heard that album, I was at like a fucking party and it was just wild and raucous as shit. This one ended up
Whiplash.
Oh, absolutely.
Smash your head
And
against
hit
the
the
wall.
lights, jump in the fire, the Four Horsemen, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, but all great songs. That's a perfect drinking album as well. I guess I'm going to go ahead and name that an honorable mention, come to think of it. But this ended up making the list because it just fits the vibe so much better.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one, and I'll take a drink to that.
Hell yeah.
All right. My next one is another party one, and it's a recent album. It's a recent album from last year. I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year.
Shit, I don't know. You tell me. It's your list.
Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess?
From last year, Imperial Triumphant.
What?
Wait, you don't party with Imperial Triumphant? They party. They bring out champagne swords and shit for their show.
I might be seeing them in a couple of weeks, actually. So we'll
Hell
see.
yeah,
I might party with them.
a dizzying thing. Trying to think like what's good party metal from last year. Ailstorm had an album out last year. Metalcore? Is it Electric Callboy?
Yeah, Electric Callboy.
There we go. That makes sense.
Techno. Every time I throw this on, I'm drinking. All my friends are just dancing. People I don't know, they're dancing. They love it. We got the moves. Just that whole video is just it is too good. I did a dance to it, I think, last year when that single came out. Every song in it is just fun. Techno Train with the whole chorus, like choo 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 choo. All about the Techno Train. And then what's the other songs in it? Spaceman, the chorus to Spaceman. Spaceman, got a rocket on my back. And then it gets to the heavy part and you just want to dance around, mosh around the room. Every single song on the album, fun as hell. What's the other ones we got? I wrote down. Pump It, the first song, Pump It Better. They're all in like the Gold's Gym attire and they're just going ham with the goddamn weights. I love it. Every single song is fun. Every single song is party music. I just want to down some beers, just rip off my shirt, start dancing to the music, and that's what I love about
Damn,
Callboy.
Questy's house turns into a fucking gay club every time he turns on Electric Callboy.
Yeah, Electric Gay Boy right here.
Hell yeah.
I love it. I love it. Everyone loves it. I show it to people who are not into metal. That's what I like about it.
It's a very accessible album, which makes it great for a party because it's just it's goofy and loud and it's very self-aware and it's very over the top in a very fun way. Like, I think the first time I listened to it, I was like, I feel like this could be obnoxious on repeat listens. And then the second time I listened to it, I was like, no, I just have a stick up my ass.
It's just pure fun. They're having fun. You're having fun. Everyone's having fun. That's what
it's one of those rare moments where, like, people sometimes come at me like, oh, how can you not like the new Steel Panther record or whatever? Stop taking it so seriously. And I'm like, the reason why is because there are other bands doing silly music that are doing it better. And Electric Callboy is like that's Electric Callboy for me. I haven't talked about Electric Callboy much on the channel, but honestly, I think a lot of like young metal and rock bands could learn a lesson from them. Like, they write really fucking good songs, and they're not
real
afraid
catchy
to be
choruses
silly
as well.
Mm-hmm. Like they're just a good band. That's a good solid choice.
Yeah, I love it. Easily my pick, and cheers.
Hell yeah, cheers.
Yum.
All right, for me, this is another nostalgic one, although we're not in the 80s anymore. This is another record where I'm like, this just defines pure alcoholic party mayhem. It's The Art of Partying from Municipal Waste.
Oh, I knew it. If you wasn't gonna pick it, I would have had it in my honorable mention.
It's another one of those records where I'm like, if you call yourself a metalhead and you aren't jamming this at like some kind of like gnarly fucking thrash party, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I have gone to so many parties with so many fucking metalheads friends. And sometimes this was the only fucking album we played. This in a playlist with like other thrash from like
it's a short album as well.
Oh yeah, And it's just, I mean, you got the title track, obviously, which still has one of the best choruses, I think, in all of
Municipal
thrash metal.
waste is gonna fuck you up. Is that the one?
No,
Oh, no,
although
that's
I think that's the prior album. Art of Partying is,
oh, okay.
tonight's the night we finally get to rip this place apart. This is how we turn your boring party into art. And it just
Yes.
kind of keeps chugging along, and like they're just shouting and yelling, and there's so much enthusiasm, and it has that great kind of like classic crossover breakdown right afterwards. Like, fuck, man. I mean, and I mean, every song on that thing is just perfect. It just has this awesome party attitude. I went to a fucking beach party once in college with some metalhead friends, and we were blasting that fucking record. And at some point, I remember, like there was a big ass fucking bonfire, and we were that specific song, actually, the title track, like people singing that motherfucker. Like that was a lot of cool parties I went to where we were playing that album, and a lot of other like Municipal Waste and other stuff from that time, like Toxic Holocaust, Evil, Havoc, some other like
similar
death metal.
sound. All those bands have a similar kind of sound, like fun party thrash kind of sound.
Just like good fun party music. Like Toxic Holocaust almost ended up on here actually too, because like I just really like that very primitive sound of records like Hell on Earth and Overdose of Death. Like the black metal, the speed metal, the classic punk vibes, the guitar tone, the scuzzy vocals, the like dystopian apocalyptic lyrics and shit. I mean, it's kind of vile and nasty, but it's also kind of fun, like in a fucked up kind of way.
The music video is fun as well. On Toxic Holocaust.
And I mean, speaking of fun, I can't remember. There was one song specifically from Art of Partying, but they had the music video that was actually done by Trauma Entertainment, the same guys who did Toxic Avenger and a bunch of other B movies back in the day.
Was it Wrong Answer or is it a different one?
No. Okay, so the video was for Headbanger Face Rip.
Oh, Headbanger Face Rip.
And it's so fucking goofy. I mean, there's so many goofy songs on here. Beer Pressure, Chemically Altered, the aforementioned Headbanger Face Rip, Born to Party, Radioactive Force, Rigorous Vengeance. Like, this is pure party power. The bonus track, too, which gets overlooked sometimes. Thrashing's my business, and business is good. I just want to rock Boner City. Like, like this is another record where I'm like, it's really well written, really well produced and performed. And it's goofy, but not like obnoxious. It's just a really fun fucking party record.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would have had that on my list. So
hell yeah.
Good choice there.
This is definitely something I think a lot of metalheads at least are going to be blasting on St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah. Your list is definitely more metal than mine. I'll tell you that.
It ain't a competition. No. Tell you what, there is one album on my list where I'm going to get a few head rolls. Like I'm going to get a few like question marks. Heads are going to turn.
There'll be some on mine to come as well.
Like there's definitely at least one album on my list where motherfuckers are going to be like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? For a multitude of reasons. So, yeah. Okay. We're not quite there just yet though.
All right. Let's ease up to that one.
Exactly.
All right, my next pick then.
Take a drink as well before you move on.
Oh yeah, shit. Can't destroy the rules now.
No, God, no.
My next one is you might not even be able to call it a metal album. They headline metal festivals, and I've seen them live, and they're insane, and I love them. High intensity. What to call them a metal band is a bit of a stretch, but because they play loads of metal festivals, I'm going to include them on this list anyway, so fuck it. They're here. It is The Prodigy with Fat of the Land.
That's an interesting pick. All right, you know what? They're one of those bands where I'm like, they're not sonically metal, but they're metal in spirit.
Exactly. Like metal in spirit. The headline Download and stuff like that. That's where I saw them with other metal bands on the same bill. So I was kind of like, you know what? I'm going to sneak them in.
Yeah, I'll let that slide.
They have a heaviness to the sound. Like high octane. Like if Electric Callboy is metal, I'm going to throw Prodigy in it. Fuck it. The heavy. Smack My Bitch Up live is just insane. The crowd is like mosh pitting, like mental. The circle pits are ridiculous. There was a wall of death. I had to take my shirt off because it was the most sweaty I've ever been for any gig ever. Ridiculous band live. Like I highly recommend seeing them. One of the best live bands I've ever seen. And I had the mistake. It's fun to drink to it at a party, but when you're drinking to it live, I was so dehydrated. Oh my god, I was like, I'm gonna
Jesus
collapse and die.
Christ.
That's how
I mean,
fun
I
it
guess
was.
that makes sense. You see videos of like people at like EDM and techno festivals and shit like that. Those motherfuckers go
They,
hard.
they do. They
Oh
do.
my God.
Prodigy goes hard. Anyway, Fat the Land is an amazing album. Smack My Bitch Up, like I said, amazing. You know, Firestarter's classic. Breathe with me. Like everything on the album is just high octane, fun. You want to drink to it, you want to dance to it, just like my other picks. What's the other song I wrote down? Funky Shit is a great underrated cut. I just want to bob my head and dance along to that one. So, Fat the Land, metal or not, it's borderline, but I'm going to include it on this list because I love it, and I think you should all drink to it and have some fun.
Hell yeah.
Cheers.
I won't object to that. Prodigy's a cool band. And I think we can maybe not sonically metal, but like metal in spirit. Like they have a lot of attitude, and like, I mean, motherfuckers go hard for that shit. Motherfuckers
metal in
go
spirit.
hard for that shit. Absolutely. Just like the pink gin.
Yep.
Ain't nobody make fun of that gin. Sometimes gin can fuck you up if you're not careful.
Oh, it's gonna
even if it is.
I had wine before this.
Yeah, oh, so you've been drinking before this?
Yeah, I was getting ready.
Shit, all right. How much have you had to drink then, bud?
2 glasses of wine and then 2 glasses of this. Not a lot.
Okay, shit. All right. I'm going to work in a few hours, so this is all I'm gonna have. Next up for me is this was one I kind of thought about a bit. This is another band where I'm like, I could probably pick any album from them, and there wouldn't be too much objection. I'm picking this one specifically. This one isn't. I would play this at a party, but this is also something like this just fills me with a certain kind of energies. This is not a party album. This is a fighting monsters kind of album. This is this. If there is a Valhalla, I hope they're playing this when I get there. It's Twilight of the Thunder God from Amon Amarth.
Yes, Twilight of the Thunder God.
That title track alone makes this album worthy. I mean, every time I hear that, I can practically picture myself in like Viking armor with like a giant fucking axe ready to just pound down on a motherfucker. Like I'm ready to go to war with. What's the name of the serpent that like is supposed to like surround Midgard and protect like you know what I mean? The world serpent.
I know.
It's sometimes
I know the one
to.
you mean, but I can't remember what the name of it is. But I know the one you mean.
Yeah, like I'm a Viking or I'm Thor or some shit, and I'm about to fight him or Surtur or
a mug of mead in one hand.
Maybe Loki's being a dumbass again, or maybe I'm just pounding some drinks with the boys. You know, maybe we're just celebrating another victorious battle. You know, another wonderful treasure hunt or tomb raid or whatever the fuck. Where we did some cool Viking shit. We fought some enemies, and now we're drinking and we're partying and we're blasting this record.
Maybe you're climbing to High Hrothgar and you're gonna find Parthenax. So you go fight some Draga in some caves.
You know, this is great dragon fighting music. It really is.
It is.
It's like I mean, it's great monster fighting music. Be it a vampire, a dragon, a troll, some other fucking thing. I mean, it just fills you with so much energy. Those riffs are so muscular. It's a consistently very epic and cinematic record. Songwriting wise, I feel this is Amon Amarth's most urgent record. Like this just fills me with so much fucking rage and energy. I feel like after this, they just kind of like there was a big plateau in the quality of their music. Like their last album, Grand Heathen Arthy, was one of my least favorites from last year.
Yeah, same. I had it most disappointed.
I just fucking fell asleep. Hell, when they came through in Toronto last December, I legit left 2 songs into their set. I was damn. I was like, you know what? I saw Carcass, I saw Obituary, I saw Cattle Decapitation. I'm good. I got work tomorrow. Let's go.
Amon Amarth.
Like, I was like, I don't fucking care, bro. I don't give a shit.
Fair enough.
But whatever. I've seen them a couple other times and they've been great. Like I remember seeing them on the Mayhem Festival tour back in like 2013, back when they were still like a pretty cool band. I remember seeing them a couple years ago. It would have been just before COVID with At the Gates and Arch Enemy opening. And that was a fucking fantastic evening. So yeah, no disrespect to Amon Amarth. They just weren't hitting for me in that one night in December. This record though, I mean, despite everything, I honestly still think it's a great record. Yeah, I would play this at a party, but preferably I would play this while fighting off demons and monsters, you know? And
You know what's better?
what's up?
Rather than demons and monsters, someone should make this. Someone who's a fan of Metal Meltdown's channel needs to make this into art. You,
Oh
as a
God.
Viking, like some fur pelts on with like 2 battle axes,
Okay.
fighting a bunch of Falling in Reverse fans.
Ah.
Ronnie Braddock is dressed as like a zombie.
Don't! You're going to summon them!
Please make that art. Someone out
Dude,
there.
I'm still fucking dealing with them motherfuckers on TikTok. God, I can't believe the amount of fucking dick sucking and ass and the amount of ass kissing and dick riding that people do for Ronnie Radke. Jesus Christ.
I was looking through your comments and also Metal Trench's comments, and I was just like, how are these people real?
I don't. Dude, one motherfucker told me I should unalive myself. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, you need to. Someone needs to make that. You as a berserker.
Like, oh God, I can't. I hope Ronnie Radke. I hope Falling in Reverse has a new album. I want to milk that fanboy rage forever. Please and thank you.
It's fun.
So
anyway.
Yeah, shame on you because now you're gonna attract the Falling in Reverse fanboys. But yeah, if someone happens to be a great artist, by all means, make that. Do it.
Please do it.
I'll pay you for
Robert,
it. We'll use it for
as a berserker. Design. It needs to happen.
It doesn't have to be pretty. You can Photoshop my face over like Thor, and it can literally just be like you can Photoshop Ronnie Radke's face onto Loki or some shit, and boom, we're done.
Amazing. It needs to happen.
I would like that if it were like that, just like really crude and like
really shit,
like a child's drawing.
You can Photoshop my head onto like a horse somewhere as well if you want.
Oh God, stop giving them ideas.
Anyway. But I'm going to drink to your pick.
Twilight of the Thunder God, yeah. With a special appearance from Ronnie Radke, because of course.
Right, so
what's the next one for you then, bud?
My 4th pick, I think, because I did Ailstorm, Electrical Boy, and Prodigy. Okay, so my 4th one is Ghost. And I'm going to pick the latest album by Ghost, Impera.
Okay.
I had a real hard time deciding on the album. I always play Ghost at parties every single time because, again, like Electric Callboy, like Prodigy, it's good for newcomers. It's good for people who don't listen to heavy music. And that's kind of the music I listen to when I'm partying. And Ghost is just like some of the other bands where the choruses are so catchy. Everyone's singing along with beers. Everyone's singing along with drinks. And Impera, I think, just has this sweet spot where most of the songs are really catchy. I almost picked Prequel because of some of the standouts like Rats and
I would I would go Prequel because of Dance Macabre.
Dance Macabre, that's the other. But no, I was thinking that because those two are classics, but then a lot of the others are instrumentals, and then because you got 2 instrumentals on the album, and then you got, I think, Miasma's on the album, which is pretty good. And then the last song is Life Eternal, which is a ballad. So I was kind of like, Impera has a bit more upbeat the entire way through rather than I keep getting the names mixed up. Prequel, where it's like peaks and troughs, which the whole album's great though. But I love every Ghost album. I could pick any for this list, really. I love them all, but Impera for me, Call Me Little Miss Sunshine, catchy as hell. Hunter's Moon, I always play. It's a Hunter's down. I've got an actual inflatable guitar. I could be doing that instead. Like
you're all ready for the party. Look at that.
Spillways is now a big hit. That's like really blown up on TikTok and YouTube.
They just redid that with fucking Joe Elliott from Def Leppard.
Yeah, from Def Leppard. Yeah, and that's become a massive hit.
Mm-hmm.
Watcher in the Sky, catchy chorus. So yeah, I'm picking the newest album. Wow, 2 really new albums on my list. What's going on?
Honestly, it's a solid choice. I was a little meh to it when it first came out, but honestly, it's grown on me a lot.
It's grown on me, yeah, loads.
I like how it conceptually deals with like the rise and fall of civilizations, and I like how at the same time it can be a big, explosive, bombastic, goofy rock album. Like,
yeah,
it's part. I mean, they just full on like Ghost have fully embraced being like an 80s fucking rock band in a lot of ways. Like there's so much on that album that you can trace back to Queen, Rush, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard. It's not like even in the little song review I did, like I straight up said it's not shocking they added Def Leppard's Joe Elliott to this because it was basically a Def
Sounds
Leppard
like,
song to
yeah.
begin with. And
Yeah.
like there's all kinds of homages to stuff from like Foreigner and tons of other like Van Halen is referenced on the album. It makes perfect sense. And all of those bands are perfect for parties. Like I would play
Yeah.
Bon Jovi and Queen at a party. I've done it many times. Ghost kind of fits all of that quite nicely while still being heavy enough.
Heavy enough, yeah.
I get, yeah, I guess it does make sense to pick Impera over Prequel with that in mind, because Prequel, I would say I like that album more, but it also does have like two big instrumentals and like the big ballad that kind of closes out the album,
which I love. I love those songs, but for a party, I don't know.
Interesting, because like I've said in the past, I've like when I did like essential Halloween albums a couple times or like scariest albums, I've mentioned Infestasumam from Ghost.
yeah.
So it
fits
a couple of Ghost in general fits a couple of different types of parties. I like that.
Love them. I love them. Everyone hates them for some reason, but they can go somewhere else.
Like,
yeah, good for them.
Ghost doesn't give a shit. It's like, oh, they're this is a gimmick. This is a gimmick. Well, 10 years later, they're packing stadiums and you're not. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, they're going on tour with Metallica and Iron Maiden and winning Grammys, and you're not. So clearly they're doing something right.
And I think their albums are better than newer Metallica and Iron Maiden.
Oh, God, yeah. That's not even up for debate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait for that new Metallica album to come out, because there will be two kinds of reactions. You'll either have everyone going, this is the best Metallica album ever, or it's the worst Metallica album ever. There will be no in-between.
I think I'm going to be in between. I think after the singles, I'm kind of like, this is boring.
I'm anticipating a very low 3 out of 5, leaning towards a 2.5 out of 5.
Like, it's
I
fine.
doubt it'll be higher than that. I'll very likely treat it the same way I treated that new Suicide Silence album, where I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, whatever. I'm moving on.
I expect that as well. Yeah.
But whatever. We can talk about Metallica when the time comes. That album's not out for I don't think it's out for another month. I don't think
August, is it? I can't remember.
I think it's out in April.
Oh, April. Damn.
Man, they're making motherfuckers wait a while if it's coming out in August, because they dropped the first single back in December. They'd be able to get away with it.
I'll be seeing them in June. Because they're playing Download here. They're doing 2 headline sets, so I'm seeing them for like 2.5. Well, probably like 3 hours. So they'll probably play loads of new songs then. So I'll let everyone know if it's good live. I don't know. It might be good.
I saw Metallica back in 2016, and they still sounded pretty good. 2017, because they played songs from Hardwired. And they were still good. I mean, say what you will of the newer material, but they can still kind of bring it live. We'll see for how much longer, though, because whether people want to admit it or not, Metallica's starting to get old. Like, Kirk Hammett is 60. Like, I don't think people need to realize these guys they're not quite Ozzy old, but they're not quite not Ozzy old.
Yeah.
Moving on. Another drink first. And album number 4 for me, and we've reached that point where this might turn some heads. I might get some weird comments about this. This is not a party album, just to be clear, but this is a great album to get drunk to. This fits a slew of more complicated kind of moods and emotions. The album is Kentucky from Panopticon. And I can already see your fucking face. Look, here's the thing. Bluegrass and American folk music, it holds a very special place in my heart. I traveled for years with my family through the Appalachian Mountains in the southern United States. I know Kentucky and Tennessee, North and South Carolina, Georgia very, very well. Panopticon in general has always Panopticon's music has always kind of put me back in like that kind of environment musically, where I'm like, I feel like I'm back in the Appalachian Mountains, in the Smoky Mountains, like by like a fire, and someone's like singing a folk song to me. Like it brings back like really good wholesome memories of being in the Smoky Mountains for Christmas and shit like that, while also being like weird atmospheric melodic black metal. I'm picking this album specifically.
Such a weird pick. Such a strange pick.
It is. I acknowledge that. I'm picking this album specifically because, like, I mean, I can just hear the moonshine on this. I can just fucking hear it. Bluegrass folk is great drinking music. It's working really well with like really emotionally charged black metal that on this album deals a lot with the coal mining industry in Kentucky and union workers and like environmental issues. Like it's a very politically motivated album without being too obnoxious or like in the way of anything. And when you get to the folksier moments of the record, it really just does kind of feel like a group of like union workers sitting around by a fire, like at the end of like a long day of protesting, just drinking and singing together. Like it has a real feel of like camaraderie. And its darker moments are just great for like not necessarily drinking a beer with the bros, but downing a bottle of wine perhaps because oh god, my life has gone to shit.
Yeah.
So I guess if St. Patrick's Day is going rough for you, maybe this album will fill a certain void. There's a lot of gnarly fucked up shit in the world. This album deals with a lot of issues that are very relevant today for a lot of people in that part of the world. So who knows? Maybe it'll do something for you. At the very least, I felt it was nice to throw in something a little bit different for my list as opposed to just nonstop walls of thrashy riffs.
Of just Ace of Spades and stuff. I applaud that pick. Didn't expect that even in the slightest. Even in the slightest. When you said it was going to be strange or something different, I was expecting Gorguts. I was expecting like Imperial Triumphant.
Oh, I pray for the motherfucker that's blasting like Colored Sands or Obscura with
trying to like
Jesus. Oh man,
that's something else.
No, this is not party drinking music. This is like, oh god, I just lost my job drinking music. Like this fits an entirely different kind of mood and vibe.
Alcohol is a depressant, so that kind of fits in very well with your pick.
Yes. I mean, on that note, folks, be safe this St. Paddy's Day. Like, by all means, have fun and party, but be safe.
Yeah. Pound those beers, but yeah, don't fall over and like die because we'll be responsible. No,
so yeah, if you're looking for something different this St. Patrick's Day to not necessarily party with, but hang out with, perhaps, give Kentucky a shot. The album is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year as well. Bind Room Recordings just did a special repress with a bunch of merch and shit, so now is also a great time to just check the album out in general.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, a good pick. I'll drink to that.
Hell yeah. So yeah, right. if you think that you're fucked up for including like the Prodigy and Ghost, I mean, I'm probably extra. I'm getting in extra amounts of trouble for including Panopticon.
Wait until my last pick.
Oh, yes. All right.
you think that's bad? Wait.
Time to see who gets the bulk of the hate then. Who gets it?
Instead of saying the name of the band, I'll just sing a part of the song and you'll instantly know who it is. And yeah, maybe you'll sing along. If only we could fly. Dun, 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 dun. Limp Bizkit style.
Oh, God.
Take it to the Matthews Bridge. I'm talking about Chocolate Starfish in the hot dog flavored water by Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, this is where we part ways.
This isn't even a joke. I'll slam this album on anytime I'm drinking. Starting off with Hot Dog with that massive 9 Inch Nails diss. Love it. Roll in, My Generation, Take a Look Around, Boiler, My Way or the Highway. The amount of just fun in this album is astronomical. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it's kind of shit. But that's what's fun. That's what's good about drinking. The cheesy, fun shit tunes. You can just sing like My Way or the Highway with a bunch of people that you don't even know. And it's a great time. You have to be completely smashed, though, to enjoy it.
On that, we agree.
But when you are, it's like the greatest music. It's the best. It's God's gift to us. Fred Durst is God's gift.
Yeah.
To us when we are completely smashed.
He's a gift, I guess, in a way.
You've even got the cap. You just need to turn it around.
No.
And then you'll be Fred Durst in. It's a shame this isn't Friday. Unless is St. Patrick's Day on a Friday?
St. Patrick's Day. This is not going up on the Friday, I don't think, but St. Patrick's Day happens to be on a Friday.
Oh, because that's Fred Durst Friday. You guys have got to listen to it. It's Fred Durst Friday. Listen to chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
My cult status is being revoked after
Yeah,
this video.
it definitely is, man. They're gonna let the Prodigy and the Ghost and the Panopticon slide, but not the Limp Bizkit.
Not Limp Bizkit.
Not the Limp Bizkit. Well, I don't know. I'll say this. My thoughts and feelings on Limp Bizkit are well documented at this point. Props for being the one self-aware Limp Bizkit fan that doesn't act like they're God's gift to Earth and being like, no, it's actually stupid and I'm having fun. Props, legit. There is, however, plenty of rap metal and new metal and alternative metal that, I mean, if you got a certain amount of alcohol in your system, it hits the fucking spot. I've seen motherfuckers do like Limp Bizkit at karaoke, and I've been able to briefly vibe with it because I have been so intoxicated. It's not something that we here at the Metal Meltdown will be blasting on St. Patrick's Day, but I accept that a lot of people are probably going to feel differently. I mean,
come over to Questy's channel. We'll blast it
go
every Friday.
Go hang out with
every
Questy and y'all can fucking blast out some fucking Limp Bizkit. You know, I mean, that's one of those things where I'm like, look, they must be doing something right because they're still selling records and they're still fucking packing stadiums. So to each their own, c'est la vie. It is what it is.
I think I'll finish this then.
Yeah, you will have at least a few people coming to your defense if it makes you feel better. I can't promise I will be one of them, but
no,
you will have at least a few. I actually feel like Ghost will probably be the most controversial one here because Ghost,
I don't understand why, to be honest.
They've just become so divisive and they've blown up so much that like,
yeah,
you know, it's become such a big deal. And I'm like, I don't fucking give a shit, man. You either like it or like even going back to Falling in Reverse, I'm like, you know what? If you dig it, go for it. Just don't be a fucking asshole about it. Like,
yeah,
plain and simple. You can enjoy Ronnie Radke without being an asshole like Ronnie Radke. It's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to tell people to unalive. Like,
yes, please. That's unnecessary in general. Like, go listen to your music and calm down. My final pick is my final pick is definitely not as controversial as that. But this is an album though that I think does fit a couple of different moods and vibes, but without being like Panopticon. This is Desolation from Chemist. This is their third studio album. It's got that epic kind of traditional heavy metal, doom metal vibe and feel, which is perfect for a party. It's got a lot of big hooks, a lot of Thin Lizzy style twin guitar leads and harmonies and guitar noodling parts. It's also a very dark and melancholic record at times, which I think also works on the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, all right, it's a cold, rainy day and I've got a glass of red wine, you know? Like if St. Patrick's Day turns out to be crap for y'all, this won't be a terrible record to have on. And if you have a bunch of friends over, it's also a good record to have on. I mean, similar to the Ghost record, although not quite as successful as the Ghost record, it has a lot of hooks where I'm like, I could sing along to this. There's a lot of riffs and melodies from this record that, like, years later rammed pretty far into my brain.
I'm trying to figure out which album you're on about. There's the album where he sat down and he's got the woman next to him. It's not that one, is it?
No, so that's the one. It's like the woman warrior kind of queen person, and she's kind of sitting on a throne, and there's like two wolves. Yes, and then that's
a fantastic album.
It's amazing. I mean, Chemist in general, like they're a great fucking band. They kind of got lumped in with stoner metal. Oh, they kind of got lumped in with stoner metal for a bit because the first album had there was a larger emphasis on like those bulkier, smokier grooves. But like as they've evolved and as they've gotten bigger and their songwriting has gotten better and better, and they've brought in like more like kind of classic hard rock and heavy metal and doom metal influence. I don't know. It just kind of fits, like I said, a variety of different moods and vibes. It's not as dark as Panopticon and it's not as party friendly as Municipal Waste, but it could easily fit both kind of nice environments.
Middle ground.
Exactly. And it's also just a fantastic record.
They're a great band.
This is a record I've shown to some people who aren't into metal and they're like, holy fuck. Because I mean it's just a well-written, well-produced record.
Yeah, I love them. I love every album they've done. I think Hunted is my favorite, the blue album cover with the old man and the
solid runner-up for me. I remember when when I saw them, and there's also a little bit of bias here because I saw them at the first Decibel Beer Metal Festival in Philadelphia, 2017, and they played most of that album Hunted in its entirety because they only had the 2 albums at the time. And I was already kind of hammered by that point because it's a fucking beer festival.
Yeah,
but I actually ended up meeting up with Phil, John, I think the lead singer guitarist is afterwards. And even though the Metal Meltdown was like small fry at the time, like we're talking like under 500 subscribers, and I was still doing goofy, angry shit.
Like, which you still do.
I do, to be fair. But like back then, it was like, man,
nothing has changed.
If you think I'm fucked up now, 5 years ago was a whole different story. But like he actually fucking recognized me straight up, and we ended up having a bunch of drinks and shit together. And
that's cool.
So it was a really cool night. Like, and I feel like Chemist just kind of has continued to fit the kind of drinking vibe for me because of like nights like that.
Fucking awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Chemist with that in mind. If y'all are watching, I apologize. I don't immediately remember your name. I'm gonna look it up real quick, make sure I got the right name, so I can actually properly shout him out. But I know he's the singer and guitarist for the band. Do you have any honorable mentions by chance?
I do have a couple actually. One of them is Pendulum with I think the album was Immersion. Pretty sure that's the album, but Pendulum kind of is in the same vein as Prodigy, where it's that kind of dancey, high octane energy, and I've seen them live twice as well, and they're just as fun, just as intense. Walls of Death and all that stuff, and I'll be seeing them again soon live. I love Pendulum, great band from Australia, I think, unless I'm mistaken. Another one, you will not agree with, maybe. It's another one that I almost put on the list.
Okay,
I swapped it out for Ailstorm in the last second. Steel Panther.
Okay, which album?
Death to All Metal.
Okay, I can vibe with that. That's their best album. I can live with that.
Or Balls Out. I like both of them. The rest are okay.
Like that was when their shtick felt kind of fresh and new.
Because it was new. It was like, yeah, this is funny. Whatever. Asian hooker. Yeah. It's funny for people who don't like metal as well. Most of my list, like, what have I got? Limp Bizkit, Ghost.
It's a lot of like goofy, silly shit. But that's cool, man. That definitely fits a vibe as well.
What have you got? You got like Panopticon and fucking Chemist,
yes,
and Motorhead.
Panopticon, Chemist, Motorhead, Municipal Waste, and Amon Amarth. It was almost entirely thrash metal at first when I was putting my list together. So that's part of why I went out of my way with some different records, because I'm like, it can't just be all thrash. But I mean, if you want to drink with the Metal Meltdown, yeah, you're listening to a lot of thrash and death metal in general. But hey, I can listen to Kentucky from Panopticon, you know. Get transported to the Smoky Mountains or the Appalachians with some bluegrassy guitar parts and some atmospheric black metal, and then fucking go chop some fucking heads off with Chemists, and then also cry with them and drink red wine, and then get back to your regular party antics with Municipal Waste and Motorhead. It's all good.
And then listen to Limp Bizkit.
And then you die after listening to Limp Bizkit, and you go to Valhalla and you listen to Twilight of the Thunder God.
And then Robert turns into a berserker and fights off an army of Ronnie Radke's stands.
Yes, this is we're establishing a lot of good Metal Meltdown Questy lore here. This is very good, very important. The Metal Meltdown cinematic universe is being put together.
I love it. I need to watch it. Someone has to make it.
Please don't actually. We got enough cinematic universes. We're good, and this is coming from a full-on Marvel fan.
Yeah. Too many.
I think I mentioned.
You got any honorable? Did you have any honorable mentions? Sorry,
I believe I mentioned "Kill 'Em All" from Metallica earlier as an honorable mention. "Bonded by Blood," Exodus. What else? I could probably throw in like. There's so much stuff. "Painkiller" from Judas Priest. Angel Witch self-titled album from Angel Witch. Not quite metal, but going into punk territory, like London Calling from The Clash, Bad Brains, Crumbsuckers, Agnostic Front. Yeah, lots of like hardcore and punk that just fits the vibe like really fucking well. The Muslims as well, for anyone looking for something a little more modern. Diaspora Problems from Soul Glow. Yeah, lots of good shit. Lots of riffs and beats and bangers, which is what I'm all about when it comes to partying.
Nice, yeah, can't argue with.
Unless we're in Kentucky, I guess.
Yeah. I'll just add at the end anything that's terrible. Because terrible stuff is generally good. I like watching terrible movies like The Room and stuff like that when I'm drinking. So anything that's
There are albums
really
that can
bad,
fit that vibe. There are some albums that can fit that vibe.
like Broken Side, we mentioned them before.
Broken Side, yes. Corey Feldman's Angelic to the Core is
Mm,
another fun one. Oh my
yes,
God.
that's terrible.
Unironically, just bangers for days.
Mm,
There's a Fred Durst collab on that album, actually.
yeah, there is.
Speak of the devil. All
Oh
right. Well,
my
I
god.
guess Freddie's got my vote at least in one place. Um, I don't know. I mean, listening to Psychosexual when Bird Torch the Faith came out, I had to be
Oh,
drunk to get through it by
woo.
the end of it. So I
Oh, I don't
guess
know about
that
that.
counts.
Oh no. Oh,
Six
I
Feet
don't know
Under,
about that.
Graveyard Classics.
TNT. It's dynamite.
Dude, I can't wait for Graveyard Classics 5. I can't
Oh
wait.
yes. We
I
need a
hope he
graveyard classic cinematic universe.
I hope he just embraces the meme and just does Graveyard Classics forever. And
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
hope he gets bored doing specifically rock songs. I hope there's a Graveyard Classics Broadway album. I hope there's a Graveyard Classics opera album. I hope there's a Graveyard Classics like ballads album with like Celine Dion and shit like that.
My heart will go on.
Like, why not? Why the fuck not at this point? Just embrace the fucking meme. I would.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
do
I would.
that.
That sounds like a good drinking album.
You, like, I can't like you can I can see it so clearly. Just like can Billy come out? Oh, oh. Well, like these grand sweeping like pianos and strings and shit.
Oh yeah, have a full orchestra behind it.
Yes.
And then just
Do
him.
it. Yes, do it right. Or like doing
Oh.
fucking like Adele or some shit. Like, never mind, I will find someone like. Throwing a guitar solo for no fucking reason, but other than that, it's like stripped down, piano driven shit. Chris
Oh, I
Barnes,
would
if you
pay
don't do
to
this,
see
I
that.
will. Heads up.
He's gonna do it. He's the new Chris Barnes anyway.
Graveyard Classics 5, Straight from the Heart, a collection of ballads and love songs. Graveyard Classics Volume 6, Let's Go Crazy Broadway style. We'll do Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera.
Cats and
Do a cut from
fucking-
Hamilton or
oh.
some shit. The Newsies, Book of Mormon.
He needs a Disney album.
Exactly.
Disney
Now you're
songs.
thinking Graveyard Classics Volume 7, A Whole New World.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yes. We're coming at Chris. If you don't do this, me and Questy will. We've already got 3 albums
will.
written right fucking here.
It's gonna be done. It's gonna be done.
It's gonna be done. I think this is a solid time to wrap this up as far as the video is concerned. Thank you, Questy, for being here. Happy early
you.
St. Patrick's Day. Happy early St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there. I hope you party extra hard on the actual St. Patrick's Day.
Hell yeah.
Let us know what albums you'll be jamming, what albums you'd like to jam, regardless of the mood, the vibe, the atmosphere. You know, are you in a party kind of mood, or are you in more of a cold, rainy day with a glass of red wine kind of mood? That's your call, not ours. Either way, let us know what albums and songs and bands would be on your playlist. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.
Cheers.